How awful.
Hello, world.
Hello, world.
Guess what?
What?
We decided we were going to pregame.
Yeah.
We had a dance party.
We did.
In the kitchen.
We did.
While I was making chicken teriyaki.
It was white.
We are very white.
With a capital.
Sorry. I'm so sorry.
I am. I apologize that we are white people.
We had fun.
There's already too many of us.
But we had a blast doing dance in the kitchen.
We did. We had a blast.
I did frog hop.
Yeah, you got low. I was surprised, actually.
I'm more flexible.
I learned that I can move my butt until I can put my hands on my knees, and then I cannot move my butt. I can move my butt, and then hands are on my knees, and my butt stops moving. I can't do both.
So really, I just asked her if she was okay, because
I just looked like I was hurting my back.
But yeah, no, we decided that every episode now we are going to pregame it by blasting Thought Shit.
Yes. By Megan Thee Stallion.
Yeah, if you don't know what Thought Shit is, please go have a listen.
Yes, please. You will not be...
Because I'm working, my chain ain't hitting, bitch ain't hurting. None of these hoes my face, and none of these hoes finna see me at the bank.
Disappointed. At all.
Not one bit.
You know what a song it was making me think of? I don't know the words to it, but it's that one where there's like a lot of tongue clicking that's like... Do you know what I'm talking about? And it's like...
Isn't it Missy? Missy Elliott?
No. It's not. No.
Oh, no, it's a guy. It's a man.
Yeah.
It's a man song.
And I'm doing yes. Something like that. I don't know what it is. Woo. Yeah. I don't know
Good job.
what it is.
You know what? Help.
Help.
Just, you know what?
Somebody just put us out of our misery.
I'm going to put it out into the universe. Help.
This is my 13th reason.
Oh, God. Are you good?
I'm good. I'm fine.
Okay. I'm fine.
I'm good. I'm fine.
How are you guys?
How are you? Wait, or we'll leave a pause so they can answer. How are you? Oh, really?
Oh, dear.
I'm so sorry.
We should talk about that.
Yeah.
Ugh. Is that Izzy speaking?
What? Where?
I don't know. She's... Oh, no, she's in there.
Huh?
I found her. She's in the desk.
We found her. She's in the desk. She's a very bad assistant. She doesn't sit at her desk. She sits in her desk.
In the desk.
Contemplated.
She's at work. That's her work spot.
She's working.
She's working. What do you want?
It's fine.
I don't know where we're from.
I don't.
We're from Chicago. Did you know?
I am so homesick.
Oh, I know.
Like, our friend from college is in Chicago right now, and he's posting all of it on Instagram, and he's hanging out with our friends. Our friends. He wouldn't have known them.
Yeah.
Our friends. He's hanging out with our friends.
Our friends.
Yeah.
Ashley and Mick.
Hello. Our friends.
Our friends.
And we're not hanging out with our friends.
As if Ashley and Mick listen. I'm like, hello, Ashley and Mick.
Hello, Ashley. No, they don't listen.
I don't think they listen,
no,
which is fine.
Don't listen. Mick would be like, this is stupid. Turn it off.
Yeah, probably.
But, okay, Chicago, if you've never been, is just, this time of year, beautiful.
It's a little dreamy.
It is a little dreamy.
Yeah, I miss the city.
It's so bad. That's what I mean when I say I'm homesick. I'm not homesick for Joliet.
Not Joliet?
No. I'm like, sorry.
Find me.
I love my mom's house. Don't get me wrong. Love it. But, like, I want to be in the city. That's what I want to spend, like, a good solid 3-4 days in the city. Lakeshore Drive at night.
Yeah, I do
when
too.
you hit that moment that's like, oh, God, I'm so lucky to be from the city.
I know.
We had that moment a lot when we were in college. It was nice. Now we have that moment here all the time where we're driving around just randomly. Anywhere, really. And we're like, oh, God, we're so lucky to live here.
Yeah. B and I make a point of being a tourist in our own city.
All
and
the time.
We definitely took advantage of that in Chicago. Mm-hmm. And now I kind of miss doing that. And we do that here a lot, too. We do, like, all the touristy things that we can think of. And, like, we still have a running list of things we haven't done that we want to do.
I know.
So.
We need to take a Chicago trip, us. But it's so hard because we have family there.
Yeah, we can't not see our family.
No, it's hard.
Obviously,
it's hard.
like, I take any opportunity I can.
Yeah.
But
part of me is looking forward to the day when, like, our parents don't live there because it's inevitable.
Sure, because then you can go there.
Because then we can go there and actually, like, visit there and it not just be, like, a family trip.
I mean, I know my mom would, and she's listening, but I know my mom would 100% be like, yes, let's go be a tourist in the city.
Oh,
because we do all the time.
Yeah, I know. You're very lucky. My mom will go down there during Christmas, but Chicago, she just sees the bad stuff on the news and she gets really nervous.
Yeah.
But that's literally like a quarter of the city.
Yeah, for sure.
And not like all of the city.
Yeah.
They're just selling it like it is.
Because anytime my mom and I make it downtown, we're like, oh, this is so fun.
So fun.
We love to do the museums. So I usually try and do one every time I'm home.
Yeah. Chicago has legit, any kind of museum you want. Chicago's got it.
The Field Museum is baller. The Adler we went to the last time, which I was obsessed with. I loved.
That's like space and stuff, right?
Yeah, of course I was obsessed with it. Nerdy nerd.
I haven't been there, I don't think.
It's cool.
I have more of an appreciation for museums now than I did as a kid. I should give the Chicago museums a second chance. And my mom does love the Chicago museums.
It's just like, they're just nice. Yeah. The Field Museum is really cool.
Yeah. If Harry Styles does not reschedule and I go and take my niece to her first concert with her mom, we do plan on doing the boat architecture tour.
Oh, that's one thing I really want to go back and do.
Yeah.
Anyway,
guys.
Anyway, how's your week been?
My week?
Yeah.
Or their week.
Anybody's
mine?
Week. Well,
mine?
Yours first. I can't tell us about their week.
I don't know. I'm training a new person at work.
Yeah.
So work has been hectic, I guess. But other than that, it's been nothing to report. Standard week. Mental health hasn't been so good.
Yeah.
But what are you gonna do? It's good today, so it's fine.
I used the word dope at work the other day, and
that's our fault.
As soon as I used it and the person walked out of the office, I looked at one of my coworkers and I said,
instant regret.
That didn't feel right.
No.
That felt
Here's the thing.
Weird.
We are way too enmeshed in Timothy Chalamet, who is a dope user.
Dope.
Not a dope. He doesn't use dope, guys. I mean, he says dope. I don't know. He might. I don't know. We don't know anything about him.
I don't know his life.
He says dope a lot, and it's rubbed off on us.
Well, it's not just him. Like, everybody uses the word dope now.
Yeah, and we are middle 30s, and maybe should not.
Should not. I literally said I felt really cool trying to say that,
dope.
And then it didn't come out cool, and I made everybody laugh.
I use it all the time at home, but I have yet to use it in the wild. I'm afeared.
I'm not afraid. I say everything that I think.
You definitely do.
Oh, jeez. I need a muzzle sometimes.
That's kinky.
Not in that way. I just say like stupid things that don't mean anything, and then everybody's like, "What are you even trying to say?"
What are our topics?
I did true crime. I mean, I didn't commit true crime. I researched it.
That's good. You didn't commit it. Exorcisms.
Right.
Demon possession.
Right.
Demon possession.
I forgot what you were. Oh boy.
I'm that, and I picked one that I think is very topical and So we'll see.
Oh, I'm excited.
Yeah.
I can't wait to hear yours.
According to you, I'm going to know what yours is.
Yeah, everybody. So. I mean, in theory, everybody's going to know what this is. This is a very high-profile story.
Okay.
So should we dive in?
We should.
Should we just go for it?
It's Tanya Lee hitting you with some true crime.
Father's Day.
Uh-oh.
June 15th, 2008 was the last time George and Cindy Anthony saw their 2-year-old granddaughter, Kaylee.
Oh, no!
After a family argument with their then 22-year-old daughter, Casey Anthony.
Oh, Jesus. I saw a TikTok. Side note before you get
I would love to hear this.
I saw a TikTok of a girl who was working at a job, right? And she was at her new desk, and she opened a drawer, and there was a picture of Casey Anthony pregnant in there with her new boss. So, of course, she, showed it around, asked around. She was like, what the hell? What is this?
What is this? Yeah.
And she found out that she was sitting in Casey Anthony's old desk. That's, where she worked in the job before she murdered her child, or allegedly.
I'm going to circle back to that because I have thoughts that that will go along with what I'm going to read.
Oh, and apparently she tried to, hide it. She tried to hide she was pregnant until, she literally couldn't hide it anymore.
Yeah, I have that in here, too.
Interesting. Yeah. Yeah, and then she showed the picture, and it was a very pregnant Casey Anthony. Yeah, very weird.
Weird.
Anyway.
You'll have to tell me about that TikTok. Show me it. So for 31 days, Cindy begged Casey to see her granddaughter, but there was always an excuse. Mm-hmm. Casey even claimed that Kaylee was with a nanny named Zanny.
Zanny the Nanny?
Yes.
Yes. Zanny the Nanny?
Zanny was not this woman's legal name, but
okay.
But it was an actual person.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It was later determined that this woman did in fact exist, but had never met any member of the Anthony family.
What?
Cindy called the cops to say that her car had been stolen and she wants her daughter arrested for stealing it.
Interesting.
The car had been towed, and Casey's father, George, went to the tow yard to pick it up. He and the attendant noticed a strong smell coming from the trunk. But when they opened it, there was only a bag of trash. That day was July 15th, one day before your birth.
Happy B-Day.
2008. We were born in 2008, let's clarify, but...
I was, oh, hey, happy 21st birthday to me.
Yeah. Well, that's why we remember this.
I was about to have a martini at Applebee's.
Yeah. You sure were.
Oh,
about to be 21.
Suburban 21st, guys. Ringing it in with a Cosmo at Applebee's.
So after they smelled what they smelled, Cindy called the Orange County Sheriff's Office and declared 2-year-old Kaylee missing for 31 days. Cindy said, and this is a quote, "There is something wrong. I found my daughter's car today, and it smells like there's been a dead body in the damn car."
Cindy doesn't mince words.
When Casey got pregnant, she vehemently denied the truth, like you said.
Right.
She suggested there were multiple possible fathers, including then fiancé Jesse Grund and another young man who possibly died in a car accident. But the identity of Kaylee's father has never been publicly revealed, so they don't actually know who her father was.
Okay.
When Detective Yuri Melich of the Orange County Sheriff's Department began investigating Kaylee's disappearance, he found discrepancies in Casey's signed statement. When questioned, Casey said Kaylee had been kidnapped by Zanny on June 9th,
Damn Zanny.
which contradicts the date that her parents claimed they last saw Kaylee, which was June 15th, Father's Day. Casey also told police that she was working at Universal Studios.
Mm-hmm.
A lie she had been telling her parents for years. Investigators took Casey to Universal Studios on July 16th, 2008.
Happy 21st birthday to me.
That's
You're gonna
it.
dress up and go to Applebee's. Why did you dress up?
To go to Applebee's. Because you know what? Who
My mom
cares?
took pictures of me in the driveway.
I remember.
I went with my 2 friends who were not 21.
That was us.
Oh, man.
So this was the day after Kaylee was reported missing, officially.
Mm-hmm.
So the police asked her to show them her office at Universal Studios. Casey led police around for a while before admitting that she had been fired years before. They even walked up to the security desk and she made up a name. It's like, "This is my boss." And they were like, "This person doesn't work here. You don't work here." And she was like, "Okay, jig is up. I don't work here."
Casey, you got me, guys.
Yes. So this was when Casey was first arrested. And she was charged the following day with giving false statements to law enforcement. No shit. Child neglect, obstruction of a criminal investigation. The judge denied bail, saying Casey had shown woeful disregard for the welfare of her child. Woeful. The bond hearing that declared Casey a person of interest introduced evidence that a cadaver dog had zeroed in on the odor of human decomposition in the car trunk and in the Anthony's backyard. On August 21st, 2008, after 1 month of incarceration, she was released from the Orange County Jail after her $500,000 bond was posted by the nephew of the California bail bondsman, Leonard Padilla, in hopes that she would cooperate and Kaylee would be found.
Okay, so they haven't found this baby's body yet?
No.
Okay.
And they were like, we'll just let her out on bond so that she'll cooperate with us so she's not in jail.
If the dogs smelt dead body, why did they not investigate that?
They smelled signs of decomposition, but nothing was to be found.
Oh, okay.
So basically some kind of residue or something that smelled like decomposition.
Got it.
On August 11th, 12th, and 13th of 2008, meter reader Roy Kronk.
Zanny the Nanny.
And Roy Kronk. This guy. This
the meter reader.
Called police about a suspicious object found in a forested area near the Anthony residence. He reported that he had seen what appeared to be a skull near a gray bag. The officer conducted a short search, and stated he did not see anything. On December 11th, 2008, so this is 4 months later, Kronk called the police again to tell them, "I've seen a skull. There's still a skull here. Come look again.
Please come see the skull."
Yeah, please come look at my skull that I found. So they searched again, and this time recovered the remains of a child in a trash bag and duct tape, which was hanging from hair attached to the skull
Oh, God.
And some tissue was also found on the skull. Yeah. After a medical examination, it was confirmed that the remains found were indeed those of Kaylee Anthony. Yeah.
And she was how old? 3?
Yeah, she was like 2.5 or 3. Yeah. The death was ruled a homicide, and the cause of death was listed as undetermined. But the thing that pegged it as homicide was the duct tape. If the death was accidental, why on earth was there duct tape?
Yeah.
That's like a weird...
Yeah.
That's like a really important piece of evidence that we're going to talk about. But according to detectives, crime scene evidence included residue of a heart-shaped sticker found on the duct tape over the mouth of Kaylee's skull.
Ew. Oh, my God. She's crazy.
Yeah, like why was there a heart sticker there?
She put it... Oh, my God.
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't know that.
A blanket found at the crime scene matched Kaylee's bedding at her grandparents' home, which was like Winnie the Pooh bedding. Among photos entered into evidence was one from the computer of Ricardo Morales, who was an ex-boyfriend of Casey Anthony, depicting a man leaning over a woman with a rag captioned, "Went her over with chloroform." So chloroform...
What a meme.
is like a very common theory about what happened. Is that they think that Casey knocked Kaylee out with chloroform over her mouth and duct taped it so that she suffocated her. That's a theory.
Okay.
Right? I mean, look, nothing, spoiler alert. Yeah. Nobody actually knows what cause of death Kaylee had.
It's just theories.
Yeah, these are all kinds of theories. Chloroform was found, like remains of chloroform were found in the trunk of her car. Okay. So that's another reason why that comes up.
It checks out. You know what's very confusing for me?
What?
Is it's become a trend to drink chlorophyll. And I keep thinking chlorophyll and chloroform are the same thing. And I'm like, why are y'all drinking that?
So I don't know if I have this in here, so I might repeat myself later, but there is. I'll get back to that. Okay. Because there is something with chlorophyll versus chloroform.
Chlorophyll is like healthy and people to drink it. It's like there's like chlorophyll water, and I'm very confused.
Yeah. Okay, so
it's green. It doesn't look like you drink it.
No, it doesn't. On October 24th, 2008, forensic reports from an examination of Casey's car are released. The reports note that a hair strand discovered in the trunk is microscopically similar to those found on Kaylee's brushes, like hairbrush. Okay. And showed characteristics of apparent decomposition. Additionally, an air sample from the trunk is found to contain chemical compounds consistent with human decomposition.
Sample, that's impressive.
Which also included chloroform. The defense, led by Jose Baez, claimed in opening statements in the 2011 trial, so this is 3 years after Kaylee's body is found, that Kaylee drowned accidentally. This is the defense's case. Okay. In the family's pool on June 16th, 2008. Right. And Kaylee was found by George Anthony, who told Casey she would spend the rest of her life in jail for child neglect, and then proceeded to cover up Kaylee's death.
Is George the dad?
Yes. Okay. Jose argued this is why Casey Anthony went on with her life and failed to report the incident for 31 days. So what this is referring to, by the way, I didn't really talk about this because this is kind of such a public case that I forgot to include this note. But as most of you probably already know, a lot of the controversy behind the Casey Anthony story is that during those 31 days that Kaylee was missing, there were photos of Casey partying with friends, smiling, laughing.
Totally fine. Not at all a worried mother.
Not at all caring about the whereabouts of her kid or acting like her kid was missing or causing any kind of fuss when she supposedly claims that Zanny the nanny kidnapped her kid. Clearly, you don't care. Right. Because you're out partying, you're out having a good time, you're living the life.
You're not looking for your kid.
Yeah, this was the prosecution's case. The prosecution's case was that Casey killed Kaylee to live her life and not have the responsibilities of being a mother. So, but yeah, he says that Jose, her defense attorney, said that she went on living her life and failed to report the incident for 31 days because she was trying to like cover up that fact, like trying to pretend like everything was fine so that she wouldn't go to jail or whatever. Okay. He alleged that it was the habit of a lifetime for Casey to hide her pain and pretend nothing was wrong because she had been sexually abused by George Anthony since she was 8 years old, and her brother Lee had also made sexual advances towards her.
Okay, all of that can be true.
It can be, but it doesn't excuse killing your child.
Murdering your 2.5-year-old, yeah.
So a software designer testifies that someone in the house had searched for chloroform a whopping 84 times, and also looked up search terms as head injuries, ruptured spleen, chest trauma, and internal bleeding on the Anthony's home computer in March 2008.
All normal thing. God, I would go to jail so fast
Well,
if someone died around me.
If someone died, yeah, they'd be like, why does she keep researching all these creepy things?
Please don't die suspiciously.
I won't. I'll do my best.
I would immediately go to jail.
The designer later reports that an error in his detecting software, whatever he used, and determined that the user visited the site related to chloroform only once. So this was a thing that was actually discovered after the trial had already completed. Okay,
so it was like an error.
So it was like, yeah, it was almost like a mistrial because of that evidence was incorrect.
Okay.
Which is an interesting tidbit. But Cindy Anthony, Casey's mother, testified that she was the one who searched for chloroform when she meant to search for chlorophyll.
Ah. See, I get those two things. I believe you, Cindy. It's fine.
So that's what I found very interesting was because you said that and I was like,
ooh, this is a time.
You're welcome.
You're welcome.
There's a thing in here about that I wrote down. Okay, so.
All the time I think that.
The defense called Crystal Holloway, who was a volunteer who helped search for Kaylee. She stated that she had had an affair with George Anthony and that he had texted her, quote, just thinking about you, I need you in my life, end quote. She told the defense that George Anthony had told her that Kaylee's death was, quote, an accident that snowballed out of control, end quote. In her initial report, Holloway reported that George saying, quote, I really believe that it was an accident that just went wrong and Casey tried to cover it up, end quote.
Interesting.
She said he had not told her he was present when the alleged accident occurred. During redirect examination, Jose asked Holloway if George Anthony had told her that Kaylee was dead while stating publicly that she was missing, to which she replied, yes. So he knew she wasn't missing.
Okay.
Or maybe he assumed and he's presenting it as knowledge.
Yeah.
But he said, I think, basically what I figured from this testimony was that he told this woman he was having an affair with, I think Casey did something and tried to cover it up. Yeah. I think something accidentally
happened and she made all the worst decisions possible.
Yeah, and she tried to hide it.
Yeah.
I don't actually think George was involved.
No.
There's a case
I think
to say
he was
that,
trying to come up with excuses for his daughter.
Yeah. To try and see the best.
Yeah.
Which I get. As a parent, sure. I'd probably do the same thing, especially knowing the fact that Casey was only 22 when all this happened.
Oh my God, was she really that young?
Yeah.
I never knew that.
She was only 22, and not that that makes it better, but she was a kid who had a kid. And also, she was living at her parents' house. So when they went missing for 31 days, that was especially weird because her parents were helping raise Kaylee.
Right.
The prosecution rested its case on June 15th after calling 59 witnesses for 70 different testimonies. The defense rested its case on June 30th after calling 47 witnesses for 63 different testimonies. Casey Anthony did not testify. The prosecution presented rebuttal arguments, beginning by showing the jury photographs of Kaylee's clothes and George's suicide note. So George attempted suicide after he found out that Kaylee was dead. Like, he drove to a motel and threatened to kill himself.
George.
So it called 2 representatives of Cindy Anthony's former employer who explained why their computer login system shows Cindy was at work the afternoon she said she went home early and searched her computer for information about chlorophyll, aka chloroform.
Got it. She was covering up for her.
So maybe she was covering up, yeah. A police computer analyst testified someone had purposely searched online for, quote, neck plus breaking. Another analyst testified that she did not find evidence that Cindy Anthony had searched certain terms she claimed to have searched. On July 5th, 2011, after 6 weeks of testimony on 400 pieces of evidence, after less than 11 hours, the jury found Casey Anthony not guilty.
That's insane.
Of counts 1 through 3 regarding first-degree murder, aggravated manslaughter of a child, and aggravated child abuse, while finding her guilty on counts 4 through 7 for providing false information to law enforcement.
Oh my God.
Casey received a 4-year sentence and a $4,000 fine for the 4 counts of lying to police, but the prison time is canceled out by the near 3 years she had already spent behind bars during the trial and prior to the trial.
So time spent.
And she got credit for good behavior, resulting in her release on July 17th, 2011.
No.
In January 2013, a Florida appeals court reduced her convictions from 4 to 2 counts. Her attorney had argued that her false statements constituted a single offense. However, the appeals court noted she gave false information during 2 separate police interviews several hours apart. So we're going to jump to November 2012. WKMG Television in Orlando reported that police never investigated Firefox browser evidence on Casey's computer the day of Kaylee's death.
Can't miss the box.
They only looked at Internet Explorer evidence.
No.
So who knows?
Only noobs use Internet Explorer.
The browser history showed that someone at the Anthony household using a password-protected account Casey used did a Firefox Google search for, quote, foolproof suffocation at 2:51 p.m. and then clicked on an article criticizing pro-suicide websites promoting foolproof ways to die, including the idea of committing suicide by taking poison and putting a plastic bag over one's head, which could explain the duct tape.
Like they duct taped it around her head.
Yeah. Since the end of the trial, various movements have arisen for the creation of a new law called Kaylee's Law that would impose stricter requirements on parents to notify law enforcement of the death or disappearance of a child should it be an accident.
Yeah.
So a couple things that I didn't really write down, but I do want to talk about. So I watched an ID docuseries called Casey Anthony, An American Murder Mystery.
Yeah.
That was very riveting and eye-opening. Casey's sentencing.
Right.
That she was found not guilty was obviously a huge shocker. I remember when that happened,
Yes.
and we were all like,
did.
what?
We were all like, the baby killer is free.
But after doing the research, I kind of understand why they found her not guilty, because there was not enough evidence.
Yeah.
They could not convict her.
They can't convict her off internet searches.
It's obvious that she did it.
Yeah. 100%.
Just based off of the evidence that is presented, but the evidence that is presented is technically hearsay for the most part.
Yeah.
It's the weird thing is the chloroform in the trunk that was found and residue of decomposition.
And the duct tape,
And the duct tape over her mouth.
The heart sticker.
So ZANNY the Nanny.
Yeah.
You ready for this?
I'm ready.
So we all know an acronym for Xanax.
Yeah.
Not an acronym, but like
code
for Xanax is Zanny, right?
Yeah.
ZANNY the Nanny. There's a very common theory
she gave her Xanax.
That she would often give her Xanax so she would sleep through the night.
Oh, man.
There is a thought that perhaps she gave her Xanax.
And she died.
She
like overdosed her.
Or something.
Yeah.
ZANNY the Nanny kidnapped her.
Yeah. But didn't you say that they proved that was a real person?
It was, but I don't think that person was not a nanny.
Okay.
She did not know the Anthonys. She did not take care of Kaylee Anthony.
So it's just a random woman named
Zanny.
That's interesting. Yeah. I mean, my first thought when you said Zanny was Xanax.
Yeah. So there is that's a very interesting perspective that I feel is really messed up.
Is it spelled Xanny?
No. Zanny.
Okay.
That whole Zanny the Nanny thing really messed me up because I was like, oh my God. And I was like, right at the end of the documentary, they were like, maybe it's this.
And you were like, what? Brain explode.
And I was like, yeah.
They always do that at the end.
That makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely does. Absolutely does. Especially for a 22-year-old who has no idea what she's doing.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And, a lot of it, and Cindy and George were part of this documentary series. Mm-hmm. They talked during the series.
Yeah.
And Cindy did bring up the fact that, like, when Casey brought Kaylee home, that Cindy took care of Kaylee for the most part.
Okay.
And that Casey was not super involved. And I was like, this sounds like a really bad case of postpartum depression.
Yeah, could be.
That could have been something that progressed.
Yeah.
Because I'm hearing that Casey was not connected to Kaylee as a baby, that Cindy and George did all of the work.
Right.
And we all know that postpartum makes you do
wacky
not all
stuff.
The time, of course.
There was one woman,
there's like extreme versions of postpartum depression that sometimes mothers murder their children.
I don't know if you remember
case,
that story of that woman who I think she had
she drowned her
4 kids and she drowned them all while her husband was at work Because she had postpartum depression.
Postpartum is a very real thing, and commonly it is not
taken seriously.
And it's also not like, it's commonly not resulting in you murdering your children.
It's given a very cute name. They call it the baby blues.
No. But I mean, it's honestly so common to the point that like most pregnant women experience a version of postpartum depression.
Yeah.
Some are obviously way more extreme, and that's a rare case, which is kind of the example I'm giving for Casey Anthony. It would have been a very, very rare case of postpartum depression, but it could be a possibility that she had terrible postpartum depression that extended 2 years, which is very normal.
Yeah.
That does happen if you don't look into it and take care of it, especially knowing how young she was. It's clearly an unexpected pregnancy, and she was already in denial about her pregnancy.
Right. So that, like, it's a perfect storm, basically.
Yeah, well, it's like that teenager. Do you remember hearing about that teenager that nobody knew she was pregnant, including her boyfriend, and then she gave birth at prom, like in the bathroom, and then like suffocated the baby and like hid the body in like a trash bag or something, and then like when they told her like you gave birth to a child, she was like, "What? No, I didn't." Like.
She didn't even realize she did.
Completely disconnected.
Oh my God. I mean, when you think about it, depression and like extreme cases, it's all connected to your hormones. It's hormone levels in your brain. And when you're pregnant, your hormones are at like a crazy level. Yeah. And then when you give birth, they drop like crazy. I have no doubt in my mind that if I were to get pregnant and have a baby, that would happen to me because my depression and everything with me is hormone related. Right. Which is one of the reasons why I'm like, no, thank you. Right. And like not to divulge too much into my mother's history, but my common theory with my grandmother and my mom's mom and her health was that she had untreated postpartum and then had another baby and then another baby. Ugh. And it was just compounded postpartum, and it caused her to basically just be erased for probably close to 2 decades. I mean, she sent my mom and her older sister to live with her mother in Alabama because she just didn't want to be a mother anymore. She gave that up and had no like emotional response to doing that. And I think my mom was there for 2 or 3 years, and she remembers it like it was yesterday. And there's a lot of other things. There's a lot of other things that I won't like get into just to respect my mom's privacy, but
of course,
it was postpartum depression is beyond real, and it causes even the best people to be total monsters.
Totally.
Against their will. So it could very well be that.
Yeah, I mean, it's a thought that I had while I was watching the documentary, and my other sources were Wikipedia and a biography.com article called Casey Anthony, A Complete Timeline of her murder case and trial by Tim Ott.
Yeah, I mean, I remember when the Casey Anthony stuff happened. Obviously, we were younger.
Mm-hmm. We were 21, literally.
Yeah, but no, it was, yeah. Yeah. I think it was the first time I remember, like, no, that was OJ. I think it may have been, like, the second time that there'd been, like, a really intense murder case and trial in my young lifetime that I was remembering.
Like the three that I remember vividly.
And
John Bonet, O.J. Simpson, Casey Anthony. Mm-hmm. Or Kaylee Anthony.
See, here's the thing. Like, I with Jean Bonet, like, I always knew about her. Like, I remember it being a thing, but I don't remember it happening in real time.
No, yeah. Same.
I mean, I guess we were very young. We are not much older than Jean Bonet.
Yeah, we're like around the same age as Jean Bonet.
I think we may have been 8.
Yeah.
When the Jean Bonet stuff happened.
Right.
So, of course, we don't remember it. I think I vaguely remember my parents watching the news and it being a thing. And every time we went to my grandparents' house, they were watching the news. So, and they were always watching Unsolved Mysteries and, like, stuff like that. So,
same.
I think I was just, like, immersed in it without really realizing the, like the starting point, I guess, of the Jean Bonet stuff. It was just always a thing.
Yeah. Just existed.
But OJ I remember because my grandma would not turn off the trial.
My mom was really into the trial too. I remember that.
We watched the Bronco chase.
Yeah.
And I just remember this thinking, God, this is so boring. I'm so sick of watching this. I don't care about stupid murder.
Who cares?
I want to watch The Fresh Prince.
Little did you know that Big B.
Big B would be like, I would have been sitting there like, Bronco! Like, absolutely. Would have been watching that riveted.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of police chases in LA.
And we're always like, get him!
We're always like, oh, police chase, sending the links to all my friends.
Yeah,
Watch this now.
Always.
So bad.
Always. Oh my God, do you remember a couple years ago when that guy like was launched out of his car and was super dead, but like on one of the signs?
Yes.
On the 101?
Yes.
Yeah, that was horrible. That took a long time to get the guy off the sign.
I once was like in traffic during a high-speed chase on the other side of the highway.
Yeah.
I was on the phone. I remember I was on the phone with my dad and I was like, oh my God. And I was like, there's a high-speed chase like on the other side of the highway. I was like, oh, this is on the 101 as well.
Well, 101 is a hopping place.
I was leaving Paramount.
Yeah, Paramount, I mean, it was in the heart of Hollyweird, so
yeah,
you're going to see some stuff.
Yeah.
For sure.
Ugh.
All right.
I'm ready. I want to hear about this one.
Okay. This is more on the side of possessions, no exorcism.
Oh, sick. Okay.
And also a little true crime mixed in.
Ooh.
Not a little, a lottle.
Boy.
All right. So, in 1981, landlord Alan Bono was murdered in Brookfield, Connecticut.
Oh.
What appeared to authorities like a cut and dry case of someone being murdered during a violent dispute ended up being anything but. Arnie Cheyenne Johnson, the defendant who was 19 at the time, was arrested, and for the first time in any court case, a defendant claimed demonic possession as his defense.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah. Martin Manella, Johnson's attorney, said, and I quote, "The courts have dealt with the existence of God. Now they're going to have to deal with the existence of the devil." End quote. On February, here we go. On February 16th, 1981, Arnie Cheyenne Johnson stabbed his landlord, Alan Bono, to death with a 5-inch pocket knife, committing the first murder ever recorded in the 193-year history of Brookfield.
5-inch knife?
Yeah.
That's not a big knife.
No,
that's like close, like I'm in your face stabbing you.
Yeah.
Holy crap.
Yes.
Okay, sorry, I just needed to point that out because that's not big.
It's not a big knife. Before the murder, Johnson was by all accounts a regular teenager with no criminal record. But the strange occurrences that ended in the murder allegedly began months earlier. In Johnson's courtroom defense, he claimed that the source of all this suffering started with the 11-year-old brother of his fiancée, Debbie Glatzel.
Of the killer's fiancé? What's his name again?
Arnie.
Arnie, right.
So Arnie's fiancée, Debbie, her 11-year-old brother. That's where it all started.
Okay.
In the summer...
I'm going to blame this kid.
Yeah.
Here we go.
Well, here we go. In the summer of 1980, Debbie's brother David claimed that he'd repeatedly encountered an old man who would taunt him.
An old man who would taunt the kid?
Yes.
Sorry, I'm just clarifying.
At first, Johnson and Glatzel thought David was just trying to get out of doing chores and dismissed the story entirely. Nonetheless, the encounters continued, growing both more frequent and more violent. David would wake up crying hysterically, describing visions of a man with big black eyes, a thin face with animal features, and jagged teeth, pointed ears, horns, and hooves.
Ugh.
Before long, the family asked a priest from a church nearby to bless their home, to no avail. Quote, "He would kick, bite, spit, swear, terrible words," end quote. David's family members said of his possession. Anyway, he experienced strangling attempts by invisible hands, which he tried to pull from his neck, and powerful forces would flop him rapidly head to toe like a rag doll.
Oh.
Johnson stayed with the family to help however he could, but disturbingly, the child's nightly terrors began to seep into the daytime as well. David described seeing, quote, "an old man with a white beard dressed in a flannel shirt and jeans," and as the child's visions continued, suspicious noises began emanating from the attic.
Oh, God. This is also part paranormal.
Yeah. Meanwhile, David started hissing, having seizures, and speaking in strange voices, quoting John Milton's Paradise Lost and the Bible. He was a well-read demon. Reaching the end of their rope, the family called the OG and controversial Ghostbusters Ed and Lorraine Warren.
Oh, snap.
Yeah.
I know them.
Reviewing the case, the Warrens concluded that this was clearly a case of demonic possession. However, psychiatrists who investigated the case after the fact claimed that David merely had a learning disability that was causing all of this. A learning
disability.
Yeah.
This seems like an extreme version of that.
Yeah, a little bit. The Warrens claimed that over the course of 3 subsequent exorcisms oversaw by priests, David levitated, cursed, and even stopped breathing. Perhaps even more astonishingly, David allegedly predicted the murder that Arnie Cheyenne Johnson would eventually commit. By October 1980, Johnson started taunting the demonic presence, telling it to stop bothering his fiance's brother. He would say, "Take me on, leave my little buddy alone."
Oh.
As a source of income, Johnson worked for a tree surgeon. Meanwhile, Bono managed a kennel. The two were purportedly friendly and often met up near the kennel, with Johnson sometimes even calling in sick to work to do so. But on February 16th, 1981, a vicious argument broke out between them. At around 6:30 p.m., Johnson suddenly drew out a pocket knife and aimed it at Bono. Bono was stabbed multiple times in the chest and stomach and then was left to bleed to death. Police arrested Johnson an hour later, and they said that the two men had simply been fighting over Johnson's fiancée, Debbie. But the Warrens insisted there was more to the story. At some point prior to the murder, Johnson had allegedly investigated a well in the same area where his fiance's brother claimed to experience his first encounter with the malicious presence, wreaking havoc on their lives.
I don't like wells.
The Warners warned Johnson not to go near the same well, but he did anyway.
I don't like haunted wells.
Yeah. Perhaps to see if the demons truly took over his body after he had taunted them. Johnson later claimed that he saw a demon hiding within the well who possessed him until after the murder. Though authorities investigated the Warrens' claim of a haunting, they stuck with the story that Bono was simply killed during an altercation with Johnson over his fiancée. Johnson's attorney, Martin Minella, tried his best to enter a plea of not guilty by reason of demonic possession. Mm-hmm. He even planned to subpoena the priests who allegedly attended the exorcisms, urging them to break tradition by speaking about their controversial rites. Priests are banned from talking about exorcisms. So it'd be a big deal for them to testify. Over the course of the trial, Manila and the Warrens were routinely mocked by their peers who saw them as profiteers of tragedy.
Yeah. I mean, that's a common theory about the Warrens, is that they were kind of scam artists.
Exactly. Mentalist George Kregsky? Sure. Said, quote, "They have an excellent vaudeville act, a good roadshow. It's just that this case more involves clinical psychologists than it does them." End quote. Judge Robert Callahan ultimately rejected Manila's plea. Judge Callahan argued such a defense would be impossible to prove and that any testimony on the matter was unscientific and thus irrelevant. The collaboration of 4 priests during the 3 exorcisms was never confirmed, but the Diocese of Bridgeport acknowledged that priests worked on helping David Glatzel during a difficult time. The priests in question, meanwhile, were ordered not to speak on the matter publicly. But Johnson's lawyers were permitted to examine Bono's clothing. The lack of any blood, rips, or tears, they argued, could help support the claim of demonic involvement.
What?
So he was stabbed to death, but his clothes were intact.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
Did he lift his shirt up and stab him? Like,
I mean, if it were demonic possession, you could claim that the wounds appeared on their own without Arnie doing anything.
Right.
But the, I guess, more logical explanation was that Arnie, lifted up his shirt and stabbed him.
Yeah.
However, no one in the court was convinced by this.
Right.
So Johnson's legal team opted for a self-defense plea. Ultimately, Johnson was convicted of first-degree manslaughter on November 24th, 1981, and sentenced to 10 to 20 years in prison. While in prison, Johnson married, received a high school degree, earned several other educational certificates, and took a number of college courses. According to Hans Schwellman, I don't know if I'm saying that right.
Who's he, Hans?
Chief of parole for the State Corrections Department, he said he was an exemplary inmate. That his mental condition was carefully examined. They found no negative factors.
Weird.
The chairman of the State Parole Board, Richard Wrightington, said the board voted unanimously after a hearing in December to allow Johnson's release early.
I feel like I've heard about him.
Just wait. You'll know from where.
Okay.
As Johnson,
this all sounds really familiar.
Yeah, as Johnson languished behind bars, Gerald Brittle's book about the incident, The Devil in Connecticut, was published with help from Lorraine Warren.
I know where I know this from.
On top of that, the trial also inspired the production of a television movie called The Demon Murder Case.
Not that, but yes.
Yeah. David Glatzel's brother Carl was not amused. He ended up suing Brittle and Warren for the book, alleging that it violated his right to privacy. He also said that it was an intentional affliction of emotional distress. Further, he claimed the narrative was a hoax created by the Warrens who took advantage of his brother's mental health for money. As for Debbie, she maintains an interest in the supernatural and claims that Arnie's biggest mistake was challenging the beast that possessed her younger brother. Quote, "You never take that step. You never challenge the devil. Arnie started showing the same signs my brother did when he was under possession." End quote. Debbie and Arnie are still happily married.
What?
Yep. Most recently, Arnie's story has become the third installment in the Conjuring franchise, The Devil Made Me Do It.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why I heard
On
about
HBO Max and in theaters.
I haven't seen it, but I know that
No.
that's what the movie is about.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's why
I thought it'd be interesting.
Yeah, I was like, oh, wait a minute.
So my sources was an AP News article, and all that's interesting article called Arnie Cheyenne Johnson, and his Wikipedia.
That's, yeah.
Yep.
That's like a whole mesh of things.
It's a whole mesh. It's like it's a hodgepodge, if you will.
Well, I find it interesting, but I also find it like kind of similar to what I was saying about Casey Anthony.
Yeah.
Is that you can't prove demon possession.
Nope.
You can't prove that. So
Nope.
it's kind of an easy way to be like, well, I was possessed by the devil.
Yeah.
Oops.
Oopsies.
Like,
yeah. I
No.
don't think I've watched enough of the real Ed and Lorraine Warren to make any kind of opinion on whether I think that they're full of shit, for lack of a better word.
Well, when I talked about the demon,
the house.
the house that was possessed,
Yeah.
the Warrens came
Right.
into the picture there as well. So
The Warrens came to the Amityville Horror.
Right.
Yeah.
Ouch.
And blame demon possession when we have our friend Jamie, whose aunt, I believe it was her aunt, was a nurse at the hospital that the Lutz family was brought to.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that's right. You
and
told me that.
everybody in Amityville knows that was just a sociopath who murdered his family and not a demon possession.
Mm.
And then Hollywood and the Warrens apparently exacerbated it and exploited it and made it into this thing. And everybody who's lived in the Amityville house claims it's not haunted.
Right.
Yeah.
Unless the demon died with
the
the Lutz family.
True.
With George Lutz.
True. The actual Amityville story is horrifying, and I'm sure we'll cover it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Eventually. Woof.
Woof. Yes.
Oh, woof.
Woof, woof, woof.
Woofity, woof, woof, woof. Woof. Do you have something wonderful to tell me?
Do I have something wonderful?
I hadn't really thought about anything
I'm
wonderful.
like, I am at a lack of wonderful.
Oh, I have a wonderful.
Go ahead.
So
I have one too. Okay, go ahead.
I recently, by recently, like a couple months ago, purchased a PlayStation 5.
Right, you love that.
And I talked about this on the podcast early on, but I bought a PlayStation 5 and I've completed 2 games now.
So proud of you.
Both of which were really fun.
How is this your how wonderful?
How is this my how
And
wonderful?
you got a whole ass email today
From Lord?
that made your life.
It made me so happy, but I talked about Lord in the last episode, so I can't talk about Lord again. Anyway, Lord's coming out with solar power on August 20th. You better go buy
I'm
it.
just super excited.
But PlayStation 5, so I bought a PlayStation 5. If there's any gamers out there, please send me some recommendations at howawfulpodcast@gmail.com. I am a brand new gamer, and I'm really enjoying it. It's really fun.
It's her downtime. It's her mental downtime, which she needs.
It's been awesome to just, like, on, like, some days off, just play video games. So I completed Last of Us, Part 1.
Yeah, you loved that.
And I don't know if I talked about it on the show, and if I haven't.
I think so.
It's not wonderful, but the game is freaking amazing. The game, it's really depressing, but it's like
a dark game.
It's so good. And then I played Spider-Man, Miles Morales. I guess it's the second Spider-Man. I never played the first one, so I don't know the difference. It was like a free game that came with my purchase, and that was really fun. I liked Last of Us way better than Spider-Man, but Spider-Man was like still really fun to play.
Yeah.
I definitely did not finish Spider-Man. Like, I finished the game, but there's like apparently like side challenges, and I did some of them, but I didn't do all of them. So at some point, I'll probably
you didn't really get Spider-Man.
At first, I did not get it.
But you started to.
I started to. I started Demon Souls. I don't know if anybody's played that, but it's too hard. I think I'm just gonna skip that one. It's beautiful. It's like a really pretty game, but
challenging, but not
like it's not.
challenging.
Well, in Last of Us, so you can play like you can choose if you want to play like easy, medium or like you can choose your like difficulty level.
Right.
And I mean, same with Spider-Man. I was like, don't
Easy.
let me die. Like,
Yeah.
just like, don't kill me. So on both games, I chose like the options that wouldn't let you die and lose your place.
Right.
So that you could just keep playing.
Yeah.
And it's way more fun.
Yeah. Because then you're not frustrated.
Yeah, and you're just like, this is fun and enjoyable, and I'm not stressed. The whole point of playing this is I don't care. So some gamers are like really into the challenge of playing the game. I don't care about that. I just want to be entertained for a couple hours. Yeah, you just
want like a mental break.
Yeah, I'm just like, I just need to like zone out and like be active because when I'm watching TV, I oftentimes get ADD and distracted.
Yeah, you're always having to play solitaire or do something else.
Yeah, I'm like, I need like something to stimulate me. Yeah. And like playing a video game, I'm like, this is great because I can like...
You're stimulated.
I'm stimulated and I'm entertained and there's a story. And I'm like, how did I not ever get into this until I'm 33 years old? Well, here I am.
Hey, it's fine.
Anyway, I'm starting a game probably this weekend called Dark Days. So we'll see how that one goes. Please tell me if there's any good games out there.
Better.
Yeah.
What her next one should be. My How Wonderful is that my best friend, you might have met her name is Tanya Lee.
Hi.
Booked us 2 days in Catalina.
I did.
For my birthday next month. We've never been. It's this like little island off of Long Beach in California.
Fun fact, it's where Natalie Wood passed away.
Yeah, it's where Natalie Wood passed away, and they don't have cars. They just have golf carts.
Yeah.
And it's super chill. And we're going to spend 2 days there. She got us a lounger on the beach with a server, right?
Yeah, so it's like, it's Descanso Beach Club.
Beach Club. We get to be fancy at the beach club. We get to ride a boat. I love boats.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm really excited about that.
We don't have reservations because they don't make reservations.
No,
you can just like show up and chill.
We want.
Yeah.
We're going to try and find an island dive bar to hang out in.
Yeah, it's going to be fun.
It's going to be fun. I know it's going to be fun.
Everybody there is on vacation.
Exactly.
So that's why it's cool. I'm like, oh, that's fun. Like, it's like literally a vacation place.
I'm kind of excited. See, the reason I want to go to a dive bar is because I want to just like talk to random people.
Yeah, be fun.
Dive bars are the one place where I'm like weirdly social.
And we haven't talked to people in like a year and a half.
I want to talk to people.
So
yeah, exactly.
Let me around humans, please.
So super, super excited about my birthday this year, which is very rare.
That's good. I'm glad.
I don't think I've been excited about. I don't even remember the last time, so I don't know.
Yeah, so we're going to do a little overnight stay in Catalina.
Yeah, it'll be
Catalina is also really haunted. We'll have to see, like...
I know. I looked up.
There,
there was, like, a Jeep haunted tour, but they're not doing it right now.
Oh, maybe by July.
Maybe.
We'll see. But you do that during the day on your actual birthday.
Yeah, that could be fun.
Yeah.
So that's my How Wonderful. I'm very much... looking forward to my birthday.
That'll be great.
Ever.
Oh,
so that's nice.
Yay, I'm glad.
Yay.
All right, should we pick for next week?
Yeah, we should. I'm sure I'll pick True Crime and you'll pick Awful Roulette because that's always how it goes, right?
Right.
All right, here we go.
Jesus. You went deep.
Oh, I got two.
Put this one back in there.
Should have kept the other one. What'd you get?
Awful Roulette.
I got Lore.
Oh, okay.
That one's so hard.
All right, so roulette.
What'd you get?
Witches and dark arts.
Fun.
I'm so excited.
All right.
I'm so pumped.
Lore and witches.
This is going to be like a very Lori type episode, so if that's your cup of tea, you're welcome.
Yeah, you're welcome, fam.
All right, so guess what?
What?
You can find us.
Yeah, please.
At www.howawfulpodcast.com.
It's all the things.
You can also follow us on all of the social medias,
Sure can.
including Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, TikTok. We are at How Awful Podcast. You can also email us, like I previously said. Tell me about your video game recommendations.
And also tell us about awful stuff.
But most importantly, please tell us about your awful personal stories, like if you've been murdered.
Yeah, that's a really big one.
You know anyone that's been murdered. If you've had paranormal experiences, we would love to hear about those. If you have been abducted by aliens,
yeah,
perhaps.
she would really love that. if you were.
It really,
It
really.
would really mean a lot to her.
There was
if you were
that one
abducted
lady
by
who
aliens.
emailed us who told us she was
She
abducted by aliens.
crazy.
Yeah, but are we going to think that about everybody that's been abducted by aliens?
You
to
were the
be
one
fair?
that was like, not this lady.
Well, because she
She
was
just wanted
like,
to
she
promote
didn't
her
make it
book.
fun. She was
No.
like, oh, I was abducted by
And
aliens.
I'm
Ugh.
angry about it.
And I was like, ugh, I don't want to know that you're angry. I want it to be fun.
No.
If you've been abducted by aliens and had fun, tell us about it at howawfulpodcast@gmail.com.
You had a party.
If you want to watch the audio of our episodes on YouTube, you can search us at howawfulpodcast.com. We are also there. You can also join us on Patreon.
That's the big one.
Patreon.com is a special place where you can actually find our video episode that we posted a couple weeks ago at the Roosevelt Hotel. It's pretty cool. We've gotten some nice comments on those.
Yeah.
On that video.
People are digging our faces.
Yeah, that's right. So go check us out at patreon.com/howawfulpodcast. We also post weekly blog updates and other fun tidbits of information that we don't talk about here on the podcast.
Right.
So yeah, be our friends.
Be our guest.
Be our guest.
Put our service to the You know they're making a Disney Plus series about Gaston and the Foo, and Chris Evans and Josh Gad are playing them.
Oh my god, I'm like,
it's about their origin story of their friendship. How did Gaston and LeFou become friends?
You can't see my face.
She's freaking out.
You guys, my wonderful would be Disney every day if I could, but
it would be
all things Disney.
Yeah,
I'm so up their ass.
We're going in a couple weeks.
We are going. Wish us luck.
Yeah.
Okay.
R.I.P. us.
Well,
we might get COVID even though we're vaccinated.
Who's us? Who are you?
I'm B.
I'm Tanya Lee.
We're the How Awful Girls. We're the How Awful Girls.
It sounds like the Golden Girls song.
No, that's not the what?
How does it go? You don't even know.
Oh, I know. No.
You don't even know.
Something about a friend. Be your friend. Damn it!
I don't remember either, to be fair.
Golden Girls. Golden Girls.
How awful girls. How awful girls.
No.
I'm ready for some peach cobbler. Good night.
Good night. As always, we've been B and Tanya Lee. Our logo was created by MJ Savard, and our theme music courtesy of Nikki Lou.